Welcome back, everyone, to OpenLine. Talking about the Affordable Care Act, we have with us Jackie Schrago, ACA volunteer, and Mary Hunt, a health navigator with the Affordable Care Act. Lots of questions from people who wonder how to get through this re-enrollment process. One thing you all deal with also is TennCare. Mm-hmm. What are some things people need to be aware of that are happening with TennCare?
Well, TennCare is in the process of beginning a re-verification process, and this will be the first re-verification since January 2014, since the Affordable Care Act really got rolling. So what that means is if you're currently on TennCare or you know someone on TennCare, it's very important to make sure that TennCare has your current address, because they will be sending out some very important paperwork over the next several months, and so it's very critical that you get that paperwork, or you could possibly lose your TennCare. The phone number to call and change your address, or just to verify that they have the correct address if you're not sure, is 1-855-259-0701. That's the phone number for Tennessee Health Connection, and they should be able to change your address for you. If TennCare does have your current address, it's very important to open any mail that you receive from TennCare, read it thoroughly. If you have questions about it, you can call our 1-800 number to try and get an appointment with someone who can assist you. So that's something to definitely be looking out for.
Re-verification, that sounds like, I mean, obviously they're going to decide if people still qualify, mm-hmm. right?
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And so people may lose their coverage.
That's right.
Yes. There's some folks who are going to be getting letters this month and the next, and all they have to do is sign if nothing has changed in their household, and their coverage will continue if nothing's changed and if they're still eligible. But if they ignore that letter or they don't send it back, they'll be kicked into a different phase where they could lose their coverage, depending.
And some people may find the letter hard to read, mm-hmm. okay, and be sure they understand what it means, and that's why we're offering some help to them. But they got to bring the letter with them, and the most important thing is don't ignore the letter. Mm-hmm. The last thing you want to do is just say, "Oh, well, they're not going to get to me," or whatever. You could lose your coverage. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we don't want that to happen for folks.
That's very important. Okay, let's go back to the phones. Jackie on line 1. Hello, Jackie.
Yes.
Hi, what's on your mind?
I have been trying to get insurance. I lost my job in March, and I went through the Obamacare thing. I didn't hear anything else from them. They said they had all the paperwork they needed. But I've been trying to get insurance, but I'm off. I ain't got no money coming in. Mm-hmm. So I was wondering how I could go about applying for insurance.
Well, that's something of a problem, because you are one of the people who fit in that gap category. It depends on whether you think your situation is going to be any different for 2016. But if it's not, then we suggest you call Health Assist, because that's going to be the best way you can get some way of seeing a doctor occasionally on a sliding scale. And it's not insurance, but it's the best thing we can do at this point in Tennessee. That's the 615-313 number. We'll put those numbers up again.
Yeah, we will put those numbers up again for sure. Now, for her situation, how much does she have to make again? If she could go out and make what, she would qualify?
She needs to be making $12,000 a year, which right now may feel like an impossible task for her. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so $12,000 a year.
But a lot of people think that the money they make, they have to have a job doing that, and they don't. This could be a series of things. So sometimes people can get a part-time job, and then they can also do additional things like babysitting. We've talked to some people who make cakes. I mean, people do a whole variety of things. Most of us end up getting some money somehow or another. Now, maybe cash income, but as long as it's reported to the IRS and reported on your income tax, then that is part of the calculation of what your income is. But you've got to pay attention to how you do that. But it doesn't have to be a regular job and somebody's got a pay stub. And that's part of what we help people figure out, whether that's possible for them.
And as we begin to wind down, what are some of the things you really want people to take away from this?
Be a smart consumer and shop.
Mm-hmm.
There are lots of changes going on. Last year, about 1/4 of the people changed their plan and saved money. This year, we know that if 80% of the people went back to the marketplace, they'd save money, an average of $50 a month. So that's an average. So it's hard to talk about averages in this, but we're saying be a smart consumer. There are new plans out there that you might want to consider. Maybe they don't work for you because of where your doctor is or whatever, but maybe they do. And especially if you've gotten a letter that said either your plan went away, or especially if your plan raised its rates a good bit.
And there's no such thing as just rolling over, right?
No, you can't roll over.
But you have to do something. Is that true? Or
no, if you
okay,
like,
well, that's good.
If you got the letter and you just want to keep going forth, it'll automatically do that. We urge people to be cautious about that unless they understand what the premium's going to be. Oh,
okay. So they could have that happen, but they could also get stuck with a pretty big payment.
Yeah, that's what happened last year, and people came into us in January and said, "What happened?" And then we said, "Okay, well, you'll pay it for January, but you've still got time." So we urge people to try and do it before January 1, before December 15. But then you still got all the month of January. It doesn't just end in December. It goes all the way through the end of January.
And what do you hope people take away? Kind of the headlines in our final minute and a half here.
If you've been hesitant to sign up in the past because you just know that it's not going to be affordable, I would really urge you to give us a call, check it out, at least fill out the application, see what you're eligible for, and make the most informed decision. Because like Jackie said earlier, there's still about 500,000 people in the state of Tennessee who are eligible, and we really want to try to reach those folks this year. So
500,000 people who
and
are
about
eligible.
half of them are in this viewing audience.
Well, there you go. 250,000 people out there right now watching. Maybe they could sign up. And all right, last year they faced a fine.
Yep.
This year the fine goes up.
That's right.
How does the fine increase? What is the situation there?
Well, last year was about 2%, and this year it's
3%.
3%.
3% of whatever
your
you make.
income.
Yeah.
Per person.
Wow.
Half of that for children, but per person for each adult in the household.
The
Okay.
minimum is $695. Now that's not what they'll pay this April. That's what they'll pay next April if they don't sign up right now.
Okay. All right. Well, very good. We are going to take a break. Then we'll come back. We'll put up those phone numbers once again. So we'll take a break. Be back right after this.